Good morning, students. In previous lectures, we were discussing about Laplace transform. Now, today we will be discussing about Z transform. We know that Laplace is a complex number that is equal to sigma plus j omega. Z transform is also a complex number equal to x plus j y. Means x is real part and y is imaginary part. We can analyze system using Laplace transform and means we can determine whether system is stable or non-stable or system is causal, anti-causal and non-causal. We can also analyze signals using Laplace transform, but analysis of signal using Laplace transform is little bit complex. So we use to analyze signal, we use Fourier transform to analyze signal. Laplace transform is used for continuous time signal, analysis of continuous time signals and system. Similarly, Z transform is used for analysis of systems, discrete time systems. There are some similarities between Z transform and Laplace transform. This is the formula for Laplace transform, Z transform. X of Z is equal to summation n is from minus infinity to infinity x of n z raised to the power minus n. This is the formula for transforming x of n into z transform or z domain. If we replace this z by s, so we get x of s Laplace transform, and if we replace this summation sign by integration and from t is and n is replaced in all places if n is replaced by t, so we get integration from minus infinity to plus infinity x of t, and z is replaced by e of s, not e of s, e raised to the power s. Z is replaced by e raised to the power s, and n is replaced by t. We get the Laplace transform formula. So there are some similarities between Laplace transform and Z transform. What is the Z domain? This is X and this is Y. So Z transform is complex number and it is equal to X plus J Y. And we are transforming discrete time signal X of N into X of Z. In Laplace transform, if real ROC is if ROC is greater than greatest whole, then system is causal. How can we analyze system? By using Laplace transform I am discussing. So ROC, when ROC is greater than greatest whole, then system is causal. ROC is less than least whole, then system is anti-causal. And if ROC is in between the poles, then system is non-causal. But in Laplace transform, ROC is decided by real part of S, means sigma. But in Laplace transform, ROC is decided by mod of Z. Z is Z transform. So in Z transform, ROC is decided by mod of Z, or we can say that range of magnitude of Z for which Z transform exists is known as ROC. So we can say that if mod of Z is greater than greatest pole, then system is causal. If mod of Z is less than least pole, then system is anti-causal. And if mod of Z is between two poles, then system is non-causal. So here, this is the representation of Z transform. Z transform of x of n is equal to x of z. Means this is a time domain signal and this is frequency domain signal. And this is also written as x of z is equal to z x of n. And here x of n and x of z is called Z transform pair. Then significance of ROC. In case of Z transform, ROC is the region of convergence of x of z is a set of all the values of z for which x of z attains a finite value. Means the range of or all the values of z for which x of z exists is known as ROC. ROC will decide whether system or filter is stable or non-stable. ROC also determines the type of sequence, that means causal, non-causal, finite, infinite, and here we will solve some problem. First problem, obtain the Z transform of following finite duration sequence. Means in this case, x of n is equal to this. In second case, x of n is given by this and x of n is given by this. These are the three problems. First we solve first problem. Here arrow is not mentioned, so by default it is in first position. Means here and value of n is 0, n is 1, n is 2, n is 3, 4 and 5. And according to the definition of Z transform, x of z is given by summation n from minus infinity to plus infinity x of n multiplied by z raised to the power minus n. But x of n is present only for when n is 0 and from n is 0 to n is 5. And different values of x of n is given by x of 0 is 1, x of 1 is 2, x of 2 is 4, x of 3 is 5, x of 4 is 0 and x of 5 is 7. Clear? Then we will change the limit of summation from minus infinity to plus infinity to the n is equal to 0 to 5. So x of z is given by this formula, and if we substitute the value of n from 0 to 5, x of z is given by x of 0 multiplied by x raised to the power 0 plus x of 1, x of 1 when value of n is 1 multiplied by z raised to the power minus 1, then x is x of 2 multiplied by x raised to the power 2 and so. Simplify this expression, we get x of z is equal to this. Substituting the value of x of 0, x of 1, x of 2, x of 3, x of 4 and x of 5. Then we simplify this equation, x of z, we get x of z is equal to 1 plus 2 by z, 4 by z square, 5 plus 5 by z raised to power 3 plus 7 divided by z raised to the power 5. This is a simplified equation or expression for x of z. Then ROC. This sequence is of finite duration because there are only 5 elements. So finite duration, and if we put z is equal to 0 or z is equal to infinite, then we get the ROC, means region of convergence. First we put as z is equal to 0, then x of z is equal to 1 plus 0, 0 and we get infinite. Value of x of z is infinite, it means when we put z is equal to 0, we get the value of x of z or Laplace z transform is infinite. It means that z transform does not exist for value of x is equal to z is equal to 0. Sorry. Clear? Similarly, if we put z is equal to infinite in this equation, we get x of z is equal to 1 plus 2 by infinite plus 4 by infinite. It means 1 plus 0 is equal to. Here we get value of x of z is finite for z is equal to infinite. So we get the ROC is entire z plane except z is equal to or mod of z is equal to 0. In Laplace transform, ROC is determined by real part of Z transform, means ROC is determined by sigma. But in Z transform, ROC is determined by mod of Z. In this case, when mod of Z is 0, value of Z transform is infinite. It means that in this case, there is no meaning of x of Z. So we get the ROC, means region of convergence is entire Z plane except mod of Z is 0. Mod of Z is 0. When value of Z is 0, then we do not get x of. So we see that sequence is causal because it is right-handed. This exists only for positive values of n. So it is right-handed causal system. The sequence is causal since x of n is present only for positive value of n. Thus, for causal finite duration sequence or causal finite duration sequence, ROC is entire Z plane. Means region of convergence is entire Z plane except mod of Z is 0. केवल जब mod of Z of 0 0 होगा, उसके अलावा entire Z plane is ROC. Means that and x of z exists for entire plane except mod of z is 0. Then this is the second question. X of n is equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 sorry 1 comma 2 comma 4 comma 5 comma 0 and 7. Here arrow is indicated at the 7 means here n is 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4 and minus 5. And calculate the value. Different values of x of n are x of minus 5 is 1, x of minus 4 is 2, x of minus 3 is 4, x of minus 2 is 5, x of minus 1 is 0 and x of 0 is 7. So we will change the limit of summation from minus 5 to n is equal to 0. X of z is equal to summation n is equal to minus 5 to 0 x of n z raised to the power n. Then solving this expression x of z, we get x of z is equal to x of minus 5 multiplied by minus, when n is equal to minus 5, then we get z raised to the plus 5. Similarly, we get this this term when n is minus 4, or n is minus 3, minus 2, minus 1 and 0. After simplification, we get this expression x of z is equal to this, and for determining ROC, we put z is equal to 0 or z is equal to infinite in this expression. When z is equal to 0, 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 7, we get finite value of x of z. So x of 0 is allowed. When z is infinite, then we get infinite. It means ROC is entire z plane except mod of z is infinite. And this is shown. This sequence is anti-causal because x of n is present only for negative values of n. Thus, for anti-causal finite duration, ROC is entire z-plane except mod of z is equal to infinite. Next sequence is x of n is given by this expression. Here arrow is at 4. It means n is 0, 1, 2, 3, minus 1, minus 2. Here we calculate, and x of minus 2 is 1, x of minus 1 is 2, x of 0 is 4, x of 1 is 5, x of 2 is 0 and x of 3 is 5, 7. Sorry. And if we change the limit from minus 2 to n is equal to 3 and substitute the value of n and expand this summation, we get x of z is equal to this, and after simplification we get x of z is equal to. For determining ROC, we put z is equal to 0 and z is equal to infinite in this equation. When we substitute z is equal to 0, 0 plus 0, 4, infinite, infinite, infinite. So we get infinite value of x of z. Similarly, so z is equal to 0 is not allowed. Similarly, when we place z is equal to infinite, we get infinite plus infinite. It means that we get x of value of x of z is infinite. Z is equal to infinite is also not allowed. So ROC is entire z plane except mod of z is 0 and when mod of z is infinite. And ROC is shown mod of z is 0 and mod of z is infinite. Then if the given sequence is both-sided sequence, this is because x of n is present for both positive and negative values of n. Thus, for both-sided finite duration sequence, the ROC is entire z-plane except mod of z is 0 and mod of z is infinite. Determine the z transform and ROC of finite duration signal if x of n is given by this sequence. Then, according to the definition of z transform, x of z is given by summation n is minus infinity to plus infinity x of n z raised to the power n. And when n is minus 2 to 3, we get this equation. And for different values of n, first we calculate the value of xn, which is given in this. And expanding equation or summation, expanding this summation, we get the expression. And if we substitute value of x of minus 2, x of minus 1, x of 0, x of 1 and x of 2, we get an expression x of z is equal to 2z square plus 4z plus 5 plus 7 divided by z plus 1 by z cube. After finding the expression, final expression, beside the ROC, when you put z is equal to 0, z is equal to 0, z is equal to 0, it means value of x of z or value of z transform is infinite. It means that z is equal to 0 is not allowed. Similarly, when we place z is equal to infinite, we get the value of x of z infinite. So x of infinite is also not allowed. ROC is entire plane except z is equal to infinite and z is equal to 0. Significance of ROC for finite duration sequence. For finite duration sequence. Sequence. Causal sequence means sequence exists only for positive values of n. Then ROC is like this. Entire z plane except mod of z is 0. This reason is, for this reason, x of z is not existed, or for anti-causal sequence, when sequence is only for negative values of n. In that case, ROC is entire z plane except mod of z is infinite. For two-sided sequence, means if sequence exists for positive and negative values of n, in that case, ROC is entire z plane except mod of z is 0 and mod of z is infinite. Let us obtain Z transform of some standard sequence. First standard sequence is unit impulse sequence delta of n. Unit impulse sequence is shown in this figure. When it exists, or value of this is 1 when n is 0, and value of unit impulse is 0 otherwise. And according to the definition of Z transform, we have x of z is equal to summation n is from minus infinity to plus infinity x of n multiplied by z raised to the power n. Here x of n is delta of n, then x of z is equal to summation n is minus 5 to n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity delta of n multiplied by x of z of minus n. Since this delta function or impulse function exists only for when n value of n is 0, putting the value of n is 0, we get this expression, and value of this is 1, and so we get x of z is 1. So ROC is, and because this is a real part on 1, it means that ROC is entire z plane, because if we write put z is equal to 0, then we get 1, z is equal to infinite, we get 1. It means ROC is entire z plane, and z transform pair is written like this. Now time is over, class is over. Thank you.